Hello, viewers around the world. Good evening. It's evening here in Milan, Italy. You are welcome to Between the Lines. Between the Lines today, the 29th of January, 2024. And what we do with Between the Line is start your week with informative impacts on events as they affect us, as they affect you. Stay updated with politics, with sports, with events, business around the world. So you're welcome. My name is Matt Godwin Iweajua, and you're tuned to Monday SSM News Echoes Between the Lines. So normally I have my colleagues with me, but I think some are caught up in some other activities somewhere, but we still have to do our thing. We have to do our thing. So you're welcome. Between the lines, this hour we are following what is happening in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, in Africa, west of Africa. These three countries have decided to exit the ECOWAS organization. The three countries were sanctioned by the regional body of ECOWAS after they truncated what you call democratic government in favor of military rule. So Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso have been on military rule for some time. And as at yesterday, they all announced that they are leaving the economic community of West Africa states, ECOWAS. ECOWAS is a regional economic bloc we have in Africa. The three countries have gone through a lot, actually, but they decided to terminate their membership with ECOWAS. So this is what we're following between the lines. With what we saw today, this morning, in those part of the country, people seems to be jubilating and people seems to be excited about them leaving Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, leaving the ECOWAS bloc. We saw people, different corners, jubilating, celebrating. So it makes us wonder. This decision by these three countries, it was a joint statement they all read together on the Niger national TV. And what we are seeing is that somehow they prefer what you call, they prefer to be loose from their colonial master. And it looks as if they are turning to a different country for security and economic support, and that is Russia. So between the lines, this is what we're following. The three countries, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, have existed ECOWAS, and it seems like it's playing out well for all of them. Everybody's actually rejoicing over this. So we look into, we wait for the future, wait for weeks ahead, months ahead, and we see how this plays out for all of them, for these three countries, because it's not easy being in a particular territory and you opt out and you're still in that territory. So they are still in that same land location of West Africa, and but they've decided to ostracize themselves from the engagement with the countries in that part of Africa. So we are watching this. We see how this plays out. Yes, between the lines. Matt Godwin is here. Between the lines, you're free to put your comments. You can check through with us on WhatsApp with the number 3510-559-541. Yes, join the conversation. Whatever news that interests you, you want to share, you are free to do that. Yes, we're looking also at something. United Nations chief, and that is the man they call Guterres, has pleaded for aid agency to resume in Palestine, in the Palestinian region. We know what is happening with some support that's been given the UN Refugee Agency for Palestinian after some countries actually suspended also their funding. So Guterres is requesting, United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres is requesting that countries join to fund the aid that they've been giving, and he vows to punish staff of the United Nations, like they've alleged, that have been involved in Hamas attack. We got the information when that attack happened on October the 7th that some Hamas, some UN staff were also involved in that strike. So we don't know how true. It's still ongoing investigation. But before we continue, I'd like to bring in my colleague in Moscow, Russia, Dr. Godwin Ibe. You are welcome to Between the Lines. Between the Lines, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, viewers, for tuning in.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you. Between the Line, like we said, is our program to start the week Monday. We give our thoughts on news occurrences around the world, and we also try our best to keep our people updated. So, Dr. Godwin, a lot is happening as we speak. I know you're following the Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso exits from ECOWAS. What do you have from your end? How are you people seeing it? It looks like a tough one because these three countries still remain in that same land territory. It's not like they are out of the land. So they are still residing there, but they decided to disengage themselves with their fellow African countries that were in that organization. So what are you saying? The decision of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger to leave ECOWAS?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty straightforward because they have the right of self-determination. It's protected by the UN Charter.
Okay.
They have the right to determine who they are and who they want to do business with, who they want to relate with.
Mm-hmm.
They have the freedom to choose their domestic and foreign policy. But what we can clearly see is that the citizens of the country are jubilating. They
Yes.
supported, I think it's a clear accepted fact, they supported even from the coup d'etat that happened.
Mm-hmm.
They supported the pulling out of ECOWAS. And for people to support pulling out of something that should be a supposedly positive geopolitical arrangement, it means they really felt like they got the shorter end of the stick. They felt shortchanged, and they felt that it wasn't a fruitful relationship, to put it this way, to put it mildly.
Yes.
And obviously, you can see the usual reaction, especially from the former colonialists. We had this conversation in some of the groups where, and I think I should maybe share it with the public. The view of the colonialists is like, if we can have those tasty countries and continue stealing from them, let's stop others from having them through our media, sanctions, and emissaries. Let me put it this way: we knew that what we were doing was bad, but we were enjoying it in silence. But now that we have lost it, let us scream from the rooftop to the whole world about how bad coup d'etat is and how fantastic democracy is.
Between the Lines is gathering some real strong crowd here. We have 420 people, and George is also joining us from Toronto, Canada. What you're saying is serious because now there are two ends to this story. George, you are welcome to Between the Lines, Monday, 29th January. How are you, George?
I'm awesome. I want to say greetings from Canada, Toronto, Canada, to Milan people, to Russian people with Dr. Ibe and Matt Godwin. And viewers from around the world, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure to have you. Yes.
George, I know I saw some of the comments you're making. I know you're following what's going on. Africa is seeing a different awakening. Three countries yesterday said it's like three brothers in a family, and they say we don't want to be part of the family again. We want to go our way. We want to do our thing. George, Godwin just said some strong words. What are your views? How is Canada seeing all of this?
Well, I will tell you how I'm seeing it. Not how Canada is seeing it, but I will
Yes.
tell you how I am seeing it. Well,
Okay.
in the past, when you go back into history, you will see that there were some countries that were being sponsored by what you call this world economy or first class countries, where they had people that could hold their citizens hostage or tight or controlled, and they were able to sponsor them, because they felt like, okay, well, whether it's pseudo democracy or not, it really doesn't matter. But now, all of a sudden, what we are seeing is that people are waking up, countries are waking up. Democracy, they did not believe that it was good for every country, because there were some countries like Iraq, like Egypt, and some other countries that were being sponsored by these colonial masters, or North America per se. But now they are waking up to saying, okay, hold on a second. I have a pact with you since you let me go free. You let me go free in name only, but you're still controlling my resources. And then you will hijack and put your own person who will agree with you in everything that you want to do, in order for me to be selling you what I know is my own resource, my mineral. I will sell it a dime a dozen to you. Enough is enough. So when you all of a sudden, what you are seeing in this country is they're waking up and saying, wait, hold on a second. Who is who? And who is ruling who? Who is controlling who? Because that's exactly what it is saying. Now, if I say no to you, that I don't want to deal with you in business anymore, you want to call me a bad country, and then you will put your own person in there to control me, to control the resources because it's coming cheap to you. We're not going to do that anymore. Out of the 15 countries in ECOWAS, 3 has already escaped. And I can guarantee you, if care is not taken, they better be careful, because more might be coming very soon.
Godwin, thank you so much. Powerful take, George. Godwin, but do you think they can survive this? Take notes that it's easy to want to escape, like in the days of slavery. Some slaves will want to opt out, but somewhere along the line, the master will still grab him, because the master knows the route. He understands also so many things. He will go somehow and get the guy back, and the guy comes back and his punishment double. So I'm likening it now to Niger, Mali.
Can I say something before Dr. Godwin comes in?
Go ahead.
Let me tell you what is happening here, my brother, whether you like it or not. Okay? Now, the reason why Russia is there is becoming very open and very transparent. The advantages of having like Russia and some of these other countries, because look at what's going on. Russia will come and say, let's do business together. Live your life the way you want to live your life. Oh, by the way, I'm going to give you a little bit of things to sustain you while you're trying to make up your mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, what you are seeing is that these countries that are escaping from the colonial grip are now turning around and say, I have an advantage with these people. Maybe I can go with them, and maybe I can be myself and do business in an equitable, justifiable way.
Godwin,
that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Godwin.
Yes, he said many of what I said. Number one, look, before I come to the master stuff, I want to just add a little bit more on what Sir just said. It's about the manner of negotiation, the condescending. When the colonialists are they relate with you as a satellite state, they relate with you as a you're subservient. So that condescending tone, you cannot sit on the same table and be demanding the same thing they demand. They will look at you as ridiculous. They could even switch off their ears because they don't see you as that. But when you do business with Russia, or even if it's China, because of the authority of your office, they know quite well that their economy is bigger than yours. But because of that authority you carry, you're the president of maybe a very fringe small country. with only 200,000 people. But just that office of president, they invite you, you sit with Putin, you talk to your related as equal, and then you begin to wonder, wait, they didn't put me at the back line when in Queen Elizabeth's burial. They didn't put us at the back line like that.
But Godwin, listen
listen
to the on Twitter. Some people are of the opinion that Russia might be like jumping from fry pan to fire.
No, yes. let me finish. Let me finish my line. You're breaking my line of thought. Actually, you're breaking my line of thought because I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to throw more focus. Let's not be throwing all sort of things at the wall. I'm talking about manner of negotiation and requirement. And when Russia does a business, maybe even China, when they do business, they don't care about how your regime, what kind of regime you have there, what your culture is. It focuses strictly on the business, on the contract. Other things are not included. Just do what if you want to squander your money, that is your problem. But the business is the business. You don't mix it up with also. You don't like you must have some human rights standard. You must have some rule-based order. You might have this. You might have that. It's so condescending. Who are you to tell other people how to live? It's very, very condescending. That's number one. Secondly, the reason why this is happening now is because of rising centers of power. If Russia was in the 1990s, Russia wouldn't be this demanding on their interests because they have more domestic problems to solve. Similar with China, when China hasn't risen to this, they were just a yes man. Anything the powers that be say, they just, even though they were in the Security Council, but they were, so it's about rising centers of power, multipolarity that makes all these centers be able to, fight for their national strategic interests.
So let's see how it plays out in the preceding weeks, month. One thing I said I think I've once said it here is Africa should not just be up and out of things. We should also arrange our homes very well. We need our young people to build skills, acquire skills, get themselves together so that when you're running away from the master, you can really start independently and face your life. Yeah, George, you want to say something?
Okay, quickly.
Okay, go ahead, George.
One thing that I think we need to do is this Pan-African, mentality that we started in the past. That is what is escaping. Special interest groups have come in and they're hijacking the interest and taking it away. And therefore, that is what is happening. So I think that we need to wake up as a continent, bring ourselves together and be able to collaborate together in order to deal with other continents. If not, they will destroy us. That's the danger that I have.
It's hard to do this, George. Okay, gentlemen, let's go on.
It's not hard.
I mean,
they are doing it. Divide and conquer is the strategy, and they are quite good in it. Okay, they're quite good at dividing and conquering.
Right in our country, Nigeria, is also some news going on. We just go on it briefly. In Abuja has now become a kidnapping and killing camp, And but the good news is during the weekend, one major face, personality behind some of those wicked acts has been arrested, and it's a young man they call, I think they call him, what's that his name again? Okay. Anyway, he's been arrested. Bello Mohammed. That's Bello Mohammed you're seeing there. A 28-year-old Nigerian. He's one of the major faces behind some of those kidnapping, and they caught him. Now, when they caught him, he tried to induce the police officer, the IG, bribing him. He told him, "Listen, take this amount of money and let me go." And but that didn't work out because the DPO Ibrahim didn't succumb to that evil plea. So that's the face behind what you see in Abuja. We hope he will be rightly judged, and we hope he will get the sentence due to him because he killed a girl. He killed a young lady in one of his raids, and very terrible news from Abuja. George, Abuja, that used to be a very safe place. I've stayed in Abuja for some time. Now, Abuja, they say by 6, 7, everybody stays indoors. Is this not a very sad thing happening that our country, instead of us being more open and doing more things like every other nation, we are relegating to that primitive lifestyle because security, people are on the loose trying to kill people, kidnap people. George, what do you have to say about this?
You know what needs to happen is if we have an independent foreign agents that will come in to do this investigation, maybe we can come up with something tangible. Look at that guy. What's his name? Bello.
Bello Ibrahim, yes.
Okay. How many of these terrorists, jihadists, have we actually apprehended before, locked up, but come to discover that they were let go? Because they say they have been rehabilitated. Rehabilitated how? How come the northeast, the southeast and southwest and south, whatever, those people are not rehabilitatable, but only those people that will come and start chasing people away from their villages, killing people in thousands. Why is it then all of a sudden when Buhari was in power, we never saw this happening in Abuja, but now all of a sudden a southwest man becomes the president? We begin to see this insurgency take place in Abuja. Why is that?
Okay.
Why is that?
Maybe Godwin can help us with the why. Godwin, why?
Yeah, I heard so many. In fact, there's some soldiers in quotes who write me. They cannot come out in public to talk about some things, but they've brought to my attention, and obviously won't reveal their identity. They brought to my attention that in fact one of the quickest way to join the military, as they claim, one of the soldiers' quickest way to join the military is to be an ex bandit or an ex kidnapper or ex what they call it, situationist. That if you are just as a Jew man, like they say, Jew man, just a normal bloody civilian in quote, you answer question tired. You won't get a chance. It will give you a shot. But once you've achieve some what do you say, escapades, you have some you have been rehabilitated, like Sir George said, then you get a quick entrance into the military, and then you will not even start from ground position, you command some people, and that is really sad. That's number one. Also, we understand that I honestly do not like to say, I do not like to invite paramilitary contractors to our territory, to be quite frank. But we know that they've been effective in many of these countries. When before the Syrian government invited Russia, for example, to Syria, what we're hearing was that ISIS is so powerful, they're so coordinated, the caliphate, this, that, the Syrian government is dying, they are winning, la la la. And when Russia came into Syria, so there was a modus operandi, that where they see terrorist formation, that they inform the other side. For example, Russia informs US, there's a terrorist, we are coming there in 30 minutes to bomb the whole place, get your people out. In 30 minutes, wipe the whole place clean. In that 30 minutes, they give just enough time for the other party to remove their soldiers. But not enough time for the terrorists to reorganize and that. They just give just that enough time for the people to prioritize their soldiers leaving, and then they go in and finish the whole place. Where do you see them again? We also see the same in Niger, same in Burkina Faso. Who are these people? When you have a strong, intelligence gathering, strong people that mean business, that are not easily corruptible, that know where their loyalty lies, and their loyalty, they came there for a particular based on a particular loyalty, then you see them, you begin to see results. So all this, I would not prefer PMC naturally. But the point is that the PMCs have been more effective than the alternative. And we have to find a way, because if there's marginalization, we need to bring in an external party that will not be tribalistic. At least they will not be tribalistic. At least their loyalty will be to results, so that their contract will be extended. And probably that's what we need in Africa. But if any other person can show me a better alternative that has worked, please,
maybe
I'm
that's
ready
what
to receive it.
It is very, very sad. It is just, and the reason why I'm saying this is simply because whether we like it or not, most of these terrorists and kidnapping, they are actually sponsored by people on top.
Okay.
Listen, there is no way, you're going to tell me that these things are not being sponsored, and all of a sudden you're arresting a group of militants and then put them inside, and the call is coming in from somewhere and telling you we need to release those people. Who is that calling? Who are those authorities that are influencing?
Gentlemen, we all agree that something needs to be done, and needs to be done very fast. We can't have our federal capital, Abuja, beautiful town, beautiful city. We can't have it being ravaged by some miscreants and terrorists, and the government is there watching, killing people. So that's what we all agree on.
Imagine that is Ottawa or Moscow. Imagine that's Ottawa or Moscow.
Can you just imagine?
I
am telling you,
rubbish.
One thing that I know is
absolutely
this:
rubbish.
Buhari is not a pushover. I mean, what's his name? Asiwaju is not a pushover, and I'm expecting him to clamp down on this, irrespective of the tribe that anybody is from. Clamp it down and wipe them out of the state, FCT, because we need peace in that place. Because they are there. They are there to make his state ungovernable. That's why they are there. And he ought to come against them with every might that he can to remove them from that place. They are there for that reason.
Viewers, you are tuned into SSM Between the Lines this Monday. One man that is that plans to clamp down is Biden, American Biden, gentlemen. We know what happened in Jordan. I hope you're following the story. Jordan, Hamas said, I think those people were Hamas supporters, soldiers. And on Sunday we had they killed in Jordan. They killed 3 American troops. Yes,
no,
3.
It's not Jordan. It's been clarified. It's not Jordan. It's Syria. Is it?
Was it clarified? Because
they said they have no such military bases. Jordan said that it was clarified that it was Syria, but I stand to be corrected.
CNN is saying something different. CNN is
initially it was said to be Jordan, but it's I think I posted something on that today, right?
Okay. So
yes.
your information is more recent, right? Because mine is
yes.
Morning.
Yeah, but anyway, I stand to be corrected. Let me see if I can get to. But continue speaking. I'll see if I can get to that.
Anyway, it's just to keep our viewers updated in that with that occurrence. 3 Americans have been soldiers were killed. Now Biden said there'll be a reprisal. He's going out all out. And,
I found it. Sorry, there was a kind of cheeky post which I found on one of these channels. This game can be played by 2. Yesterday, the United States admitted that during the recent attack on their base in Al-Tanf, which they maintain in Syria, without the consent of the local government, essentially occupying Syrian territory, 3 were killed and about 30 more American soldiers were wounded. And they threatened that Iran would answer for this crime. In response, Tehran stated that it was out of business. Thus, the Iranian leadership openly trolled the Americans, who in their words also used the same phrase, that they were out of business in considering the terrorist attack in Iran on 1st of March 2024, when almost 3rd of January, 2024, when almost 100 Iranians were killed. All this, let me remind you, was then admitted to be responsible. ISIS claimed responsibility for that. And ISIS, we know, was once fed by the Americans, according to sources. Thus, the Iranians showed that the game of pretend to be a teapot can be played by 2 people. This is a case of where something can come back to. But obviously, in Syria, it's been clarified. I knew that there was such a contention.
Yes. Okay. Clarified. Syria viewers. Syria. In Syria, they killed 3 American soldiers and many were wounded. in an airstrike. A drone, I think it's a drone strike.
It's a drone attack. Drone attack.
Yes. Okay, gentlemen, let's move on. That's America. We know it's an interesting time we are in. Wars and rumors of wars, strikes and rumors of strike everywhere is pumping out, and we are doing our part to keep our people updated. You need to stay updated. You need to know what's going on. You need to be alert and follow what's going on with
but
all.
You do know that America is going to retaliate because they play with the blood of their citizens. That's one thing that I love about them. When any blood is shed by any outsider by an American being killed, they will definitely retaliate.
Let's talk about the type of retaliation they can do. The type they can do, obviously, they won't invade Iran. It's the kind of assassination like they did with the general. That's most likely what will happen. And using maybe one of these, what do you call this, Global Reaper Hawk, or what is it called, drone, or Hellfire missile, which they once used. That's going to be the most likely line of attack. But the thing is that for every single line of attack, there's always a retaliation. So it just goes back and forth. There's never a time that Iran has said, oh, you attacked us or you retaliated, and so we keep quiet. It's always going back and forth until one party. So I don't see the point.
Even though I don't want us to stretch on this one, but this is why somehow Republicans don't believe in all of this. Trump doesn't believe in all. He says Syrian and all these places have been fighting war from before mankind existence. So he doesn't want to have anything to do with them. Stay your own.
And think about the people. Think about the people who are killed. The three. A lot of people said that base was a training ground for fringe elements of terrorists. So in quotes, allegedly, but I don't have first-hand information. If that is true, that is really sad, because this intelligence agency should stop working with terrorists if they do, and they should really need to stop it. Also, these Americans who are killed, for example, you can imagine the amount of human capital. I mean, if they are soldiers, for example, the amount of education put in, the human capital. We can say 100 American lives is worse than 3 American and 30 wounded. But when you now also look at the human capital costs that are invested in this and taxpayers' money, you can see that there's some semblance of waste, equivalence in waste that is just taking place.
That's a good one to point out. Okay, gentlemen, let's come back to Nigeria. Let's come back to something very critical, and that is the minimum wage of the average worker in Nigeria. This morning, the federal government has inaugurated a committee, and I saw the list of those in the committee. I saw some governors. I even saw Wike, the former Rivers State governor, there in that committee. Now, it is of very, very importance that we think of these people, this class of people. The average worker can be going home with money that cannot sustain him for 1 week, talk less of a month. It has always been, I think, 30,000, 25 to 30,000. Now, some people have increased to 35, and we are now looking at trying to make it more than that, because this minimum wage affects the well-being of the average Nigerian citizen, and somehow too affects the economy. Gentlemen, what will you say? The team has been inaugurated. We hope this team, with some of the governors in it, we hope they will come up with very good minimum package for the average worker of Nigeria. George, let me start with you. What's your take? What do you think is ideal for the average worker? How much?
I think that the minimum wage should be about 100,000 naira.
And what's your reason for that?
The reason for that is when you compare what is really happening in Nigeria with the devaluation of our currency, it has become nothing but ordinary water you pour on the ground.
Okay.
Just imagine if you had ₦1 million in Nigeria before the inauguration, or before the inauguration. How much is it worth now? It's lost more than 60% of its value. And today, because of inflation, everything is rising, and many people are still earning less than 30,000 naira, which is equivalent to $39. $39 in US currency that a person can make in 1 hour. People that are doing like
it's less
regular
than
jobs.
$39, like $30 or so.
It's $30. Can you just imagine? Yet, decision makers, and yet you look at it, there is no infrastructure put together to take care of the masses. What they're doing is voting more money for themselves, buying jeeps and cars from foreign countries that are manufacturing it, not from the local economy, not from the local manufacturers. So you putting all these people together, they need to have an independent body, not involving anybody in the office, to come up with, to study, understudy this whole entire thing and come up with an equitable wage that will be balanced, even if it drops more or goes higher. I am telling you, people are dying daily. Transportation has increased. The prices of food is increased. The prices of price of fuel has increased. A lot of people are dying daily, and nobody is taking account. It's not, no statistical analysis or numbers can be given, because people, they will go and bury their own and forget about it. Come on,
Dr.
enough
Godwin.
is enough in our country. Why are they still bringing this type of individual? Look at Wike. You're bringing Wike to be part of this board. People,
Dr.
come
Godwin,
on, wake up.
Yes, thank you, George. Dr. Godwin, if you were to be in this board, how will you come up? What would be your minimum wage for the average Nigerian?
You know, one 100,000 does not seem. I mean, I would want as much money to be given as minimum wage, but obviously the economy may not be able to sustain it if everybody is gainfully employed. But the thing is that we have a high rate of unemployment. So if those who are employed, which is like less than 60% of the population, then we less than 50% of the population, then we can definitely be able to afford 100,000 naira for each citizen if we cut down on government cost of governance, and we cut down on corruption. We should be able to effectively afford that. But you see, I'm not a fan of this minimum wage as a solution to the great problem which Nigeria is facing. I mean, a lot of people don't understand basic things that, for example, we in diaspora, we understand this better. You can earn 100,000 naira every month, and just one sickness, you just say, come and wipe out all your savings, and that's it. It may not even be the person, it might be the person's loved one, who he cannot just see or bear, dying. And he is forced to wipe out his own savings. So there are many more things that are more important than that. You need a good safety net, and one of that is universal health coverage. I'm not speaking about it just because I'm a doctor. I'm speaking about it because I know how health can be a problem. I mean, imagine working for 30 years for your retirement savings, and then one develops cancer, and then the treatment, yes, and then the money is no more pension. That's just it. So let us, in addition to focusing on minimum wage, focus on this safety net that can help someone retire in peace, and can help allow people to work in peace, and to be able to really use their free disposable income and savings for their upliftment, rather than for the black day or for unforeseen circumstances which could have been foreseen and prevented.
Okay, thank you very much. Good one. This one is just a news update. We won't talk much on this. We are hearing that the Yemen Houthi rebel have escalated the attack, and they hit one major fuel tanker, Now, as at this Monday, a lot of shipping companies have suspended their transit through that Red Sea line, through that Red Sea corner they normally use. So there's real ongoing attack going around there now, and this is what we're following as at this hour. Gentlemen, let's wrap it up. It's a 45 minutes program. Between the lines, viewers, it's a 45 minutes program. We just give our update. Gentlemen, there is a young lady in the UK that is doing something very, very interesting. She had decided to begin a solo trip from London to Lagos by car. And that's a lady called Pelumi. Pelumi is a young lady that lives in the UK. And she has actually done this a couple of times in other continents and countries. But this time she wants to do Lagos to London to Lagos with a car. Guys, what do you say? When white people do this kind of thing, we all get excited. Some people follow them up too. Now it's our sister that is doing it, a Nigerian, a black girl, and she said one of the reasons is to create an awareness with the average African girl, that they can do anything they want, they make up their mind to do. She also said she's looking out for people to sponsor her. She saved up about 15 to 20,000 for this whole journey, and it's going to be an adventure. George, will you want to go on a ride from Canada to Nigeria?
There are so many people these days. Nigerians are waking up and they are, wanting to make a mark that cannot be raised in the world stage.
Nice.
So, kudos to her. Kudos. She's doing great, and I will support her. Okay. I just hope that there will be strategic ways of navigating herself, so she will not fall into the wrong hands or into. I hope there will be some kind of protection for her.
Yes,
as she
yes,
goes.
hopefully. Yes.
Not to go alone.
Yes. There are those checks in the plan. Godwin, will you drive? We're waiting for you, Godwin, to do that. Drive from Russia, from Moscow to Lagos. Come on.
I mean, she obviously has more experience in such kind of long driving probably than I do. But I want to say that, I support that she's trying to make a mark. But to be quite frank, I don't get excited over such things that do not, I do not see quite the benefit of this. I don't know who is going to help and why people should sponsor it, right? I don't know who. I mean, it's an adventure you want to break, so it's her dream, if someone wants to invest in her just for the investing in her, that's fine. But I don't understand the social cause of this. I don't yet see it, but maybe someone can say it to me. I don't know.
There are lots of social causes.
Dr. Godwin, see it this way. Why are people, when they do Olympics, they go, they contest, they win? Okay. Most of the time, the money they make is through commercials. By God's grace, this type of young lady who is taking this adventure right now could become a face, a household name, because a company might begin to sponsor her. A car company might even give her a car and use her and pay her. So these are
yes. I support her building her career. I'm speaking about why should the nation want to invest? Other people, want to invest in this. For example, now I want to give my 1 cent, to this. I want to know, why am I doing this? For her to travel from London, I cannot see the benefit. I'm saying, for example, for me as a person, I want to key into it, but I do not see the return on investment. I don't know what it's for.
Okay. God, you know better. This is that you're saying this. I'm a little bit disappointed. Obviously,
I know. I'm actually.
When people go on this kind of voyage, there's so much, Godwin. What are you saying? Listen.
No, I am saying for her as a person, you're getting me wrong. For her as a person, and anyone who wants to invest in her career, that is okay. But I'm saying as a social cause, as something like when someone opens a GoFundMe.
It has more
I'm
value
trying to understand.
social cause. It has more value in the social
It's
cause
like
side.
when Hilda Bachi went on these Kukan marathon, yes.
You see how it's packed up.
Let me finish that. When she went on a Kukan marathon, there was no like GoFundMe or like looking for sponsorship, and anyone who was just interested did that, but I didn't see this kind of asking for donations and all of that. That's it. But also, I also want to say the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this voyage or adventure was that I was thinking, is it possible for a Nigerian to do the same? Because it kind of rubs in the face of diplomatic relations that a London resident can just stroll into Nigeria, but can a Nigerian stroll into London? I want it to be equal. I want that relationship to be equal. Let a Nigerian also be allowed to do that to London, so that the relationship is mutual and bilateral. I always want us to be on equal footing and not rubbing our face,
Well,
out there.
a young man has done it earlier in 2020.
From Nigeria.
Yes, Kunle. No, from London too. One Kunle.
Yeah, I would like to see the other way around, so that we can say that yes, we have the same we have the same relationship, equal relationship.
Right behind me here, some people are doing it with the boats, and you know what they go through. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Between the lines, we've looked in between the lines. All that has happened so far. We'll be back on Wednesday, viewers. We'll be back with our SSM News Echoes Global Africa update. Thank you very much, George, for coming by. Thank you, Godwin. So this is it, Between the Lines. Viewers, thank you for being with us. Till we come again on Wednesday. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful week.
Yes.